Welcome to the Exit Rich podcast, where the leading authority on buying, selling, fixing, and growing companies, Seiler Tucker, is dedicated to helping you find the path to retire rich and move on to your next adventure by exiting your business for the desired dream price you deserve. Get ready to exit rich with your host, Seiler Tucker.
All right, so I think we're talking about possibly being on my podcast in the future.
I believe that is the case.
Okay. Where are you based out of?
Southern California. Yourself?
I'm from Southern California, but I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Whereabouts are you from here?
Long Beach.
Okay. I grew up in Palos Verdes.
Oh, okay. Well, exactly.
In Orange County.
You live in Orange County, yeah. And, I tell you, so many people are moving out. I always said I wanted to move back, but not now. I would go to Florida before I go to California.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Taxes and the politics and this and that. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Days of influence, fractional CMO, digital social media content, influencer marketing, keynote speaker, consultant. Have you authored a book yet?
I've written 4 books.
Oh, you have? Cool. I didn't even see those on here. What's the name of them?
Most recent is called The Age of Influence. If you go to Amazon and
that one. Yeah, I'm not going to go to Amazon right now because you're on my computer. But the age of influence, influencer. Okay, and then maximize your social, changing up your social media marketing.
Correct.
Okay. Maximize LinkedIn for sales and social media marketing.
Yep, that's number 2, and then windmill networking is number 1.
Any Wall Street Journals, USA Today? Any bestsellers?
I guess how do you define bestseller? Because most authors will show that they were on number 1 in one category on Amazon for one day, and they'll say bestseller. So
yeah,
I don't use those tactics.
What's that?
I prefer to make money from books being business cards and CEOs buying them and reaching out to me.
You self-published, right?
What's that?
Did you self-publish?
First 2 self-published. Maximize Your Social was with Wiley, and The Age of Influence was with HarperCollins Leadership.
Good. You got some good people there.
I'm hustling.
HarperCollins is good.
Yeah, they're good people.
They didn't make any lists for you? No? It's okay if they didn't. I'm just curious. That's why I'm asking. I'm an author.
They didn't make any what for me?
They didn't make any of the big lists for you, like USA Today or Wall Street Journal?
Big publishers don't really promote you.
I know.
Probably the way I look at it is they probably have, 10 or 20 or 30 books going out each month, and they pick 1 or 2 authors that already have proven success that they put all their PR spend behind. So that's the way I analyze it.
Do they give you like a fee? Like some type of commission or something?
You get royalties, yeah.
You get royalties. Hold on.
Michelle, have you ever written a book? You said you were an author.
Yeah, I've written 3.
Okay, so join the club.
The one behind me, right there, Exit Rich, just came out. It was Wall Street Journal, USA Today.
Nice.
Who's
your publisher?
I use Greenleaf. So basically, it's kind of like a hybrid approach because I didn't want to go to any traditional publisher where they own the content. I want to make sure I own all content.
Yep, I know who Greenleaf is. They're a very respected company.
Yeah, I had great experience with them, and I'm doing 3 more books that I'll probably use them. But these other, like Harper and Wiley, don't they give you like an upfront fee?
Yeah, so the way that hybrid is, you basically pay.
No, I know, but I'm talking about Wiley and Harper that you just got to.
Yeah, it's all negotiation. So there's some people that can negotiate, a few $100,000 up front. You're basically getting your royalties in advance. It's called a royalty advance, right? Huh. But most people will not get that. Usually it's something, publishers don't want to give out royalty advances. Obviously authors want to get them. It's usually not that much, but at least you're not paying, it's free. They're doing.
You don't own the content though, right?
Well, you are the author, so it is your copyright.
Yeah, but you can't use it whenever you want, is what I've been told by some publishers.
Well, it depends on how you define that. So I said, look, I want to create a lead magnet. I want to be able to give away some to get downloads and build up my email list. And they approved that. It was in the contract. You can create up to what % of how many words to do that. So I think it's all part of the negotiation.
Can you speak on stage and use your content?
Yeah, of course.
Huh? I just got mixed stories about that. All right, well, enough about that. I was picking your brain.
No worries.
Coming out.
It's all good.
All right, tell me a little bit about you.
So I have my own podcast and I've been in a lot of podcasts. And so someone reached out to me on LinkedIn. I'm assuming maybe your VA or someone that works with you and said, oh, we think you'd
I'm
be a
not a
great.
VA. Unfortunately, I wish I had VAs, but no, I pay the taxes and everything else. Unemployed.
Okay. Maybe it was yourself, but it's like, hey, you'd be great on my podcast. So, whenever I do these calls, it's like, well, you had reached out to me. So, I thought maybe you knew something about me or there was a reason why you thought I'd be appropriate for your podcast. I mean, I can talk all day long about me, but that's just, my question for you.
So have you listened to any of my episodes?
I have not.
Okay. So that's okay. I'm not
I've
offended.
been on more than 100 podcasts. I don't have time to, unfortunately, listen to.
We're on over 100 podcasts. I've been on about 400.
Nice.
So you're on 100 every month?
Oh, I did it as part of a book launch.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
All right. So my podcast is all about, I do, and I don't know if you know anything about me. I do mergers and acquisitions. I buy, sell, fix, grow companies. I have several different programs. I partner with business owners. I invest money, etc. I try to have on really, really, really good guests who have had billion-dollar exits.
Okay.
I've had Alex Stern on, and he was the founder of Constant Contact. I had Jeff Hoffman on, founder of Priceline, and a bunch of other stuff, the airport kiosk. He was one of the founders of Priceline. He wasn't the only one. And I've had, some big shakers. The guy who owns all the Snap Fitnesses. He was on. He sold Snap the first time for 70 million. And then turned around and sold it again. Anyway, so I like to have big exits, but I also like to have entrepreneurs that can help other entrepreneurs, because I think one of the biggest issues, I've been doing this for 22 plus years, one of the biggest issues is trying to find that right marketer. Because a lot of us have wasted a lot of money with the wrong people, paying these fees, no results, etc. Sometimes it's hard to find the right attorney that's not going to eat up your bank account. It's hard to sometimes find the right CPA that knows, really knows what they're doing. And in marketing, there's so many different forms of marketing, right? So you got like a good copywriter, trying to find a really good copywriter, trying to find a good digital marketer, trying to maybe find somebody who's good at email campaigns and webinars and things like that. So I always try to bring resources to the table, and that's hard for me to know how good you are on one conversation without using you. But I try to bring guests to the show that can make a difference and maybe help that person struggling with their taxes, or tax credits, or struggling with, how to sell out. Boy, that's what my show's about, how to sell out. But also, legal strategies, tax strategies, marketing strategies, financial advisors. We have several financial advisors come and provide tips what to do with your money. Yeah, so that's what our show's about. So when we found that you're a CMO, there's not a lot of companies that have CMOs, right? You're a virtual CMO.
I'm a fractional CMO, exactly. That's exactly.
It's just like a fractional CPA.
Exactly. Same idea. And there are.
I haven't had one of you on before.
Okay. Yeah. So, it's funny. I work with, there are some companies I work with where, in fact, one where they were trying to get their first round of, however millions of dollars, and they had their first board meeting, and they invited me to speak at the board meeting as a way to show that they are working with, experienced leaders, and here's our go-to-market plan. And we successfully, got the funding. People work with fractional CMOs for a lot of different reasons. And there definitely is that startup. When we pitch to investors, we need to have a better story, for instance.
Do you mostly work with startups?
No, I mean, there's a part of it, I work with a variety of brands. I'd say part of it are startups or smaller SMBs that just do not have experienced or, senior marketing people, and they want that expertise and they bring me on. The other are larger enterprises where they have a strategic initiative, like, an employee advocacy program, or, we want to launch a new influencer marketing program or things of that sort. So it's a combination, but I do, as a fractional CMO, do tend to work more with the smaller than the larger company. And I cover, my focus is really digital. As you can see from my books, I started out in social media marketing. Now I cover all of digital. So, whether it is SEO or, pay-per-click or email marketing, marketing automation, all the way to social, to influencer marketing, all the way to TikTok, that's all in my domain. And the way that I help businesses is, it really starts with the strategy. What are we trying to achieve? Do we have any metrics on, what's cost per lead, et cetera, et cetera? What sort of budget do we have? And then what's going to be the biggest bang for our buck? navigating through all these different channels. And then, hey, do you have junior staff? Well, let's include them in the meetings. Let me help train them so that they can do the job as well. So it becomes, CPA is a little bit different because they just sit back, and with my role, I'm actively involved. I'm almost like a virtual employee because we're doing Zoom calls together, and often it's not only with the CEO, but also with junior people that I'm helping to educate. So yeah, that's basically what I do. So
Do you actually do the marketing, or you just do the strategy for it?
it depends on the client. Some clients, so right now I was actually going over an Amazon ad campaign that I'm managing for one client. So yeah, I go, because I do it for my own brand. So I go as deep as we need to. I offer
brand. What do you mean?
like my own business is what I mean.
Okay. So you go deep. Say that again.
I go as tactical as they want, but if they want to hire me to do tactical, it's going to be a little bit pricey. So normally they want to try to find people that can do the tactical. But yeah, I can do, I'm not an agency. I have launched my own agency before. I prefer to be at the strategy level, but if they're going to pay me the same level at the strategy level to do tactical work, I'm more than happy to do it.
All right. And what would you think would be the biggest thing you like to talk about on the show? Like, what do you think would be the biggest aha moment? Like, something business owners don't know.
Yeah, Michelle, and I come to you like from a spirit of service. So I'm not trying to like make any money or try to get any of your listeners to become clients, just to provide them education. And if they want to work with me, they'll reach out to me. So with that in mind, I always start, and I'm actually glad we're doing this because, what are the needs of your audience, right? And maybe it's you saying, well,
it's hard to say that because, unless I have a bull going out, but usually, my business, the listeners are going to be anywhere from startups to small to middle size. Our sweet spots, we work with companies $10 million and up. Okay. And so, but we have smaller listeners, the smaller businesses listening too. So what are the needs? And these are, look, I've been working with business owners for years, helping them fix their business. The biggest need out there is marketing. How do I get leads? What do I do? How do we turn on the waterfall and just pour out leads? Is always the biggest need. Well, I always kind of take a break on marketing because if they don't have their foundation built in their company, they're going to crash and burn after, we turn on that waterfall, right? So it's always about, for me, it's about giving them real advice on marketing, what you should be doing in your business, things like that, by people who do it. So I fix businesses. I have a Road to Exit Rich program where we fix businesses. But as far as actually doing the marketing piece of it, we refer out to our marketing partners.
Gotcha. I mean, if that's the case, I would almost take this very holistic perspective. And okay, let's dumb down marketing, right? What do we need to do? So you basically have three main components. You have this paid component, and I'm sure a lot of startups like, oh, I'll just spend $5,000 a month on Google ads or $50,000 and I'll get, it doesn't work that way, right? Not necessarily, right? You have this organic side. Yeah, you have this organic side. Well, I'm just going to create a TikTok video every day and I'll make millions. It doesn't work that way either. And then you have like the earned side. That to me is like the influencer side, which I wrote my most recent book about, which I think is a side that most businesses tend to overlook. But when you think about in business, you have these like JV partners, right? When you think about the spirit of JV, it's actually really, really close to what influence marketing is rather than that Kim Kardashian or TikToker. So, I like to talk about all three because at the end of the day, you sort of need to do all three. And it begins with your website. It also begins with, do you do email marketing? Do you have an email list? Do you communicate with people? When they come to your website, how do they, how do you position yourself, your branding? So there's a lot that goes into it. But at the end of the day, you want to have a well-oiled machine where it's like, okay, Michelle told me that I can spend $25,000 a month on marketing. How am I going to best spend that? Part of it's probably going to be content creation. Some of that's going to be for your website, for your SEO. Probably some of it, a little bit of it, it's going to be for social media. There's going to be some money that's going to go to influencers. There's going to be some that's going to go to paid media. And we're going to monitor and manage all this and try to, optimize this over time so that our spend on paid media gets us more leads per dollar and we get more website traffic and leads organically from everything else we're doing. And then we have that well-oiled machine, right? Then it's like, okay, well, now we see for $25,000, we get $50,000. How do we scale this? So to get to the point, to get to scale is the hard work, right? When you get to scale, it gets really exciting and a lot of fun. But it's that drudge work at the beginning that probably needs the most attention because it's the part that probably most of the people listening need to do but don't do, or they hear someone talk about, oh, you need to be on LinkedIn, and they just do that. They don't do anything else. It's like, oh, what happens when they come to
you have to have 5 to 7 marketing channels.
Well, I don't know about numbers. I mean, you need to have 10 to 20 touches. So,
I call it 5 to 7 different marketing channels. So like for us, we have a book, that's a marketing channel.
yeah, yeah.
I'm an international speaker, that's a marketing channel. I have a referral network with CPAs, attorneys, and financial advisors. That's a marketing channel. I do social media, that's a marketing channel. We do pay per clicks, that's a marketing channel. We have word of mouth. So that's 6 right there. And I know we have a 7th one. That I tell all my clients you have to have 5 to 7 different marketing channels, different ways that you get leads. Oh,
Yeah.
Podcast is my 7th one.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I find that, we both speak to slightly different audiences. My audience will get overwhelmed. Like, I don't even know where to start. So I was like, okay, like I said, let's dumb it down. You have organic, you have paid, you have earned. But on the other end, with organic, you have a blog, because where do people search for information? They go to a blog, they go to YouTube, right? They may listen to podcasts. So you need to have this type of evergreen content that's going to be the basis. Podcast is definitely one, a blog is another, YouTube channel is another.
A book is another.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect everyone to publish a book. That'd be awesome if they did, but yeah. So probably in reality, yeah, you're right. There are multiple touch points you need, but some are going to perform better than others, and you want to invest.
I call them channels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to tell my clients, you have 5 to 7 puppets in this. How you get paid?
Yeah.
Marketing channels, yeah. Because a lot of people have one puppet. It's one way they get paid. Why do you think all the restaurants went out of business?
Yeah.
During COVID.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So we can definitely talk about that. I think that would be good. I'll come back and call them channels. You can call them touch points.
Well, they're different things. You want to get touch points through your channels, but yeah. What you say, I mean, obviously makes sense as well. So,
people, it's that the consistency. People got to keep hearing you, seeing you. I own medical clinics here in Louisiana, and like some of the biggest attorneys that get the most business are the ones that they're getting seen. There are billboards all over the city. There are constant advertisements. There's constant social media present. They have more. You need what? How many touch points do you need before somebody reacts?
Well, I said 10 to 20. I mean, some people say 7. There's, you need a lot though.
Yeah, I always said 7, but that was before all the the pandemic and all the noise.
Yeah, indeed.
Now I think I agree with you.
But we can, and you have experience working with all these companies, so we can definitely riff on this conversation, and you can throw out, hey, Neal, one of the businesses that I'm working with is this. What would you recommend? We can go at that level as well.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, so you wanted to be on because you seem a little hesitant at the beginning. You're like, well, how'd you find me?
Well, no, because I don't know you. You don't know me, right? So you're like, this phone call is for you to vet me, but I didn't know about you and your story and your podcast. So thank you for letting me know. No, I'm absolutely interested. So I think it'll be a great conversation that'll help a lot of people.
All right. So we'll work on the marketing team. Will get you scheduled.
Cool.
Okay. It's probably going to be later part of January, sometime in February.
Cool.
We're backed up a little bit.
Awesome. Well, I am going to check out the 6P method to sell your business for huge profit. I will.
Go buy my book on Amazon. It's $4. The audio is $4. The print is $27.
You'll figure, right? I'm still a print guy.
Audio is $4 until I raise the price.
Very nice. So you'd recommend Greenleaf then, huh?
I tell you, when I talk to some of the bigger publishing houses, and I am good friends with Greg Reed. I don't know if you know Greg Reed. He's in California. He has an event called Secret Knock. He wrote 3 Feet from Gold. He wrote, oh my God, all kinds of books. And he's saying, different authors I've talked to, it's different stories. You just got to be careful with the content. And so I want to own my own content. I don't want to have to ask somebody for permission. I write for Inc. And I had to go through this whole negotiation, but they don't negotiate shit. So they explain it to you, and then you either buy into it or you don't. So I write for Inc. But yeah, I've just started down the content, and you can get in trouble if you're talking about stuff on stage. I'm like, I don't, it's my content. I don't need anybody bringing them on that.
Yeah, I think that there is a negotiation. For instance, they negotiated, I wanted to sell my own, I speak Japanese and Chinese, right? So I wanted to sell my own foreign language rights because but they said, we're going to do better. Let's include in the contract. And then they said they want the rights to create a course for my book. And it's like, well, if you're actually going to do it and I don't plan on doing it, then that's fine, right? I ended up creating a course. It wasn't called The Age of Influence. It's called Influencer Marketing Strategy. And no, there's no lawyers coming after me, right? So I think that, it's all the negotiation. And if you were ever in doubt, I've never worked with an agent, but if you were to contact a few book agents, they will tell you, like, they'll give you the lay of the land. So
You have an agent you can recommend?
I don't. I never work with an agent. I got introductions from other authors, but this is really top of mind because my last book published right when COVID started, and I'm looking at publishing my next book, and I'm in the process of putting together a book plan. Well, a brief to send to publishers, and I've thought about potentially working with an agent, but I've yet to do any research.
Yeah.
And the agent is just to get you a greater that pre-royalty to get greater money up front. That's all. But for me, I mean, it's just about distribute. I want more people to get it because I know it's a big fat business card. It's a
Are
sales.
you in Hudson Bookstore? Is your book in Hudson?
But the book's in all the bookstores.
It's in Hudson, the airport stores?
Oh, not the airport stores. No. Greenleaf got you in there? Yeah, well, that's good. Maybe you made the right choice.
Yeah, she's got a big deal. Well, I haven't signed her up yet, but I had a $20 million company. She sold my book in Canada at the Hudson Bookstore in Canada.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, Hudson's is huge for business
I'm
books.
going back in January, yeah.
And I think that's where, I've heard a lot of that about Morgan James. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No, I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to this like self-published author event, and Greenleaf was talked a lot about, and then Morgan James, and I got an offer after that event. I decided not to work with Morgan James, but I do have some friends in marketing that have published with Morgan James, and they say a lot of great things about him. So it's similar to Greenleaf, same approach. But I think Greenleaf has been around longer, and they might have better distribution networks.
I think they probably have better distribution, yeah.
Yeah, see, Wiley is really focused on like education, like universities, like textbooks. And HarperCollins leadership is sort of all over the place, but part of it just timing. I mean, it came out during COVID. People couldn't go to bookstores. So it's sort of, I think they retweaked their whole distribution
Well, we kind of
strategy.
revamped. So we're coming out in 2020. We decided to come out in 2021.
Yeah. My topic was just so timely. I didn't want to wait any longer, but yeah.
That was better strategy for us.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because we were also trying to make the list. We were doing a lot of pre-sales. And we had enough sales to make New York Times, but we didn't make it because they chose all alumni. It's like so frustrating. But at least we made USA Today and Wall Street.
That's awesome.
All right, well, so I'll have her schedule with you. And you made Wall Street and USA Today too, you said. Didn't you say?
No, I honestly have no idea. I don't, to me, it wasn't important. So
Well, you would know if you did.
Yeah, I would know if I did exactly. I mean, I made number one on Amazon in certain categories for certain days, but
I did too.
Yeah.
All right, so marketing team, get your schedule and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Exit Rich podcast. Don't forget to check out Michelle Seiler Tucker's Build to Sell Blueprint books and Exit Rich, along with more blogs, videos, and resources at exitrichpodcast.com. Be sure to connect with Michelle on Facebook or LinkedIn and stay tuned for her next episode by subscribing in your favorite podcast player.